Ready?
That's right.
Let's go. Hey, everyone, for joining us today. Today, I'm really excited for the guest I have here. So I learned about I think probably 5 weeks ago, I was on YouTube. A friend of mine posted a video to say, look, this is the handshake act, because I like to do those handshakes when I was playing football. I always like to invent those things. Looks like I was dancing. So I just shared it, and I checked, and I said, wow, that's really cool. And I went to the story, and then we'll talk about it. And I said, man, I want to get this guy on podcast because it's just way too cool to forget it. So thank you for joining me. I hope you will enjoy this as much as I do. But before we get into that, just let people know who you are.
Well, first of all, thank you for having me on the podcast, man. I'm definitely honored and flattered. I'm Barry White Jr. I'm the handshake teacher, as some will call it, here in North Carolina, Charlotte, North Carolina, is where I teach at and reside. Currently, I teach fifth grade at Ashley Park Elementary here. I'm still currently a teacher working on my principal license. So, yeah.
Cool. Um, Tell us this about this handshake. In America, everyone loves this stuff. So, but how did you start that? And why did you start it?
Yeah, so initially the idea was sparked from a fourth grader who the year before I did the handshakes would come to my class, and every day she'd be at my door just randomly, just somebody I see in the hall, like, hey, what's up, Mr. White? And she's like, well, let's do a handshake. Like this was all I did. Let's do a handshake, and I'll just do whatever, just passing, nothing big, nothing. I didn't think nothing of it. But then she was consistently doing that every day. Like she'd come to my door. And even days, some days I'm a little later than usual. And, I got to, try to get my coffee and get the paper set down. She waiting at the door. So, I got to stop. Hey, what's up? Oh, yeah, what's going on? Do a handshake with her. And she would not leave until, she got her dap, like, her handshake. Even till sometimes the bell would ring. And I'm like, listen, you need to get to class because I'm not to get me in trouble from your teachers to have them hate me because you waiting for a handshake. But I just saw what that did for her. Like, it meant something to her. It was super small. It wasn't monetary. I didn't have to buy anything, no candy, no bribes. Just a little interaction between me and her. And I thought that was really big. I saw how her mood was after that. Like, she was happy to go into the class. Like, her spirit was up. She was like had that excitement about her, that glare in her eye. So I thought, well, you know what? Over the summer, I'm like, well, she's coming to me next year, and I get that reaction out of her. Who's supposed to be one of our most challenging students behaviorally. Then what would that look like if I had a whole team? So now I'm thinking like a basketball term, like, I want a team. I want a full-on basketball 30-man team, 30-man women team. So then she came. Of course, we had our handshake already down packed, and then a few more students. I want one, and then from there it started to spark. It started to just contagious. Everybody went, Mr. White, I got some idea. It is like it became a real thing. At recess, we practicing out there, doing our handshake. And I just saw what it did for them. Like it really sparked something in them, just having that moment, like with their teacher, especially when I had like 60, 70, 80 students. And they're like, well, we all got one. Like they help individually, I was throwing that, listen, you're special one-on-one, just from who you are. So I also had started a step team at my school. So some of my students, we had step moves in it. So we'll be doing step moves in our handshake, doing things like that. And I just wanted to really promote like the individuality there, that listen, you're special, unique in your own way. So I'm not going to have, all of us don't have the same handshake. Just like all of us aren't the same people, right? Some people are motivated by, monetary things or tangible things. Some people motivated just by intrinsic motivation. So it's like kind of showing, listen, you are good who you are, like in your own. So just kind of empowering them and letting them know that they feel that they are special and that somebody thinks they're special, or care enough to take the time to do like 80 different handshakes before we go into class and remember them. So, and then on top of that, it was fun for me too, man. I enjoyed doing the dance moves. That's how I learned to keep up with all the new dance moves from them, just learning from them. So it was a great thing, man. And then it just continued year after year. The next cohort couldn't wait to get to my class. So I'm going on my fourth year at Ashley Park. I have 3 years of students of handshake. So the ones in 6th grade, 7th, 8th grade that's still here in my school, when I see them, hey, Mr. White, you remember my handshake? Yeah, let's go. So it's like I have like a whole pretty much college, a collegiate experience, 4 years of handshakes that from 8th grade all the way to 5th.
It's like, well, when I was listening about this story, I start thinking like, how such a basic simple thing can make a hell of a difference, right? Um, because so I'm a huge advocate of the fact that sometimes school systems are too much of how should I say, we are robotizing people in the sense of we're trying to get everyone the same level, same college, same type of knowledge, same everyone has to get an MBA and stuff like that. And I always feel very excited when I see teachers that are, you know what, you are different and it is different. You are both different things, different people, and there is nothing wrong with that. You guys are just your own individuals, and that's what we are looking for. But how was this received in the school? Because you went viral, man. It's all over the place. It's like,
Yeah.
I'll get famous just because I'm talking to you.
No, it's, you're the famous one. But in the school, it was great, man. Like I said, throughout the entire building, all the way down to kindergarten. I had students stop, Mr. White, and putting, the little kindergarten, they put their hand up, Mr. White, like, trying to do a handshake. So I had handshakes from first grade, second grade, even I didn't even teach that class. So grade level, for that matter. But it was, I mean, like I said, it kind of rejuvenated school as well, like increased the morale because we were getting a lot of positive spotlight. We're Title I school, actually on the west side of Charlotte. So this definitely did a lot for the morale, and the parents, of course, were excited and amazed to seeing their children all over the news and from Steve Harvey to Good Morning America, all that. So they were pumped up, man. Like I said, other teachers, even right now, one of my teachers across the hall, he's doing handshakes with his class, and we're side by side. So my lines come, his lines coming. It's a beautiful thing. So I really think the influence and impact really spread really wide. And once again, the concept behind it was just really emphasizing building that relationship before the lesson, right? So taking the time to let me have a moment with you before I ask you to come in here, sit down, and like you said, a lot of people, a lot of times it's scripted curriculum or, all right, do this, do that, do this. Make sure you got the homework in tomorrow. So before I'm asking all these things of you, let me make sure that you know that I'm invested in you beyond what your grade is going to, turn up, what you get on your end of the year test. Yeah. It's about, making sure that you feel appreciated and respected, especially the same way I would expect you to reciprocate that energy, right? So in school, it trickled out. So, a lot of people didn't have their niche of things that they did, from chants to, to note cards, how they do things. So it was just I love seeing innovation, like all around the world. Like I saw a lot of people around the world doing handshakes. After that, a couple people went viral as well in other cities. Like I love the idea of building that connection and like really treating students like human beings, right? As opposed to just, almost like they're not human. Like you just come in, you have to respect what I say, you have to do what I say because I'm a teacher. No, I'm gonna give you the same respect and take that time to really dedicate, some invest in you. The same way I want you to invest in my content, I need to be invested in you the same way, right? Past that. So I think that's an amazing thing, man. Just a shout out to all the innovative and creative teachers out there, whether it's handshakes or chants or whatever you call it. I just love it. I love that type of thing.
I have a 6-year-old daughter. Or she will tell me 5, you mean, because she's just 6 in 2 months. Mm-hmm. So every time I say she's 6, she tells me, you mean 5. Get the numbers right, man. She's like more or less what she tries to tell. But anyway, so she's very introvert, or let's say she's very active when she knows the people, but she's very introvert when she doesn't know. So she has a very hard time to approach people when she doesn't know them. And ironically or not, I'm very similar even still now. So one day, completely unrelated, I just taught her like this, like and it just, and she was like, and I find it very cool. She doesn't do it anymore now because now she's an adult. But in that time, she used to do it. So it was funny because one day I took her to school and I dropped her and I just did it. And all the friends become like, the kids around like, wow, I also want to do that. And then she kind of, out of the blue, she kind of became like the rock star for like 5 seconds about like, man, that's, my father has to do that as well. And I find, that's why I kind of find interesting because it's a way to connect and get people to connect. And the handshake itself is of course a tool, but what is important is what is behind, right? And what you're trying to get. what type of school are you teaching? Is like a mid class, is a low class, or
Yeah.
is
So,
it?
so it's Title One. So historically, Title One is we have a high rate of students who receive free or reduced lunch. So it's like poverty, low income
Yes.
poverty. It's located on the west side of Charlotte.
Okay.
So we're in that area, Title One demographic. So it's
And the reason I'm asking is not because I don't think those are worse or better, but it's because statistically those are often the schools where you have biggest dropouts, right? We don't necessarily understand why the dropouts are happening. We just blame the social environment to say, well, that's just the way it is. It's a bit like it happens. And few weeks ago, I was talking to Michael, another podcast. He's from the West Coast. West Coast, California. I never know if it's West or East. So he's from California, and he was explaining me the school system and how much sometimes the school system itself doesn't really help the children to build up confidence that they can really be someone and they can really make a difference to the world. And you are just so much like, you know what? It's just that's what I have. That's what I'm going to be, and I'm just like another guy. And we're in the social system that is not going to help us. And but for the record, it's not just in North America. It also happens in other countries. How do you see this in the ages where you are teaching? This kind of inclusive behavior where you are helping kids to feel like individuals. How do you feel this is in terms of engagement in the school system, and how much do you feel that they are kind of feel that the school makes difference, not just because you have to be there, but because it can really help them?
So specifically for me, while it's important to have an impact in all school systems, right? Not just the low income, middle school, high. For me though, the reason why I chose Ashley Park was because of that matter that I feel like I could have the biggest impact here. Like even me being African American male coming in here, that's it's a low percentage of us, like 2%, especially in elementary. The lower grades come here like, okay, in the demographic of Title I, low income, where the stigma is placed on us, as you just stated, to where there's a ceiling placed on us, right? So now you're Title I, low income poverty, you're going to follow the trajectory that people set for you. More than likely it's a high percentage of you dropping out if we get to high school. So we look at that, and we come to these schools and we don't see these stigmas. We don't acknowledge them. We don't even pay attention to that. We come in here with the attitude that these are the students, right? They deserve to have the same equal access to if the students over in Ballantyne is more the South Side, high to middle class students. So they deserve is equitable learning, like across the board, right? So they need to be able to have that access, and they need teachers who come in with that mindset of have equitable, teachings, background skills, or just knowledge of it, to where it's not said that, oh no, I don't want to, roll this out. I don't want to teach you this content because I don't think you'll be able to understand it. Mm-hmm. But across the town, they're giving them all this access to this code, this language, the kind of language, what to say, how to use it, this type of teaching them all the skills that they're going to need later on. But yet we're limiting our students because the common quote is, "Oh, my class is just not ready for that. That's over there. It's too much. So I'm going to supplement. I'm going to No, we're not lowering the rigor. We're going to give them the same equitable learning that across the board. We got to make sure that inclusion and even the diversity, like as far as if you have Hispanic students or we call them L students, they need to still get the same access and ability. That we have to work a little harder to supplement and modify certain documents, but they need to receive the same equitable, and have learning access to that every other student has. So we come in, in this school specifically, I know a lot of us come in with the mentality, listen, you're going to exceed expectations regardless. And that comes with us holding high expectations. So we don't lower it. No matter what you look like, what background you got, they're going to come in Mr. White classroom, the bar is here, right? So as much as we have fun and I'm loving you and and care so much about you, I care too much about you to let you lower your own expectation or rigor, right?
That's love, right?
Exactly. Like we gotta see that bar, and that's the mentality that myself and all the other teachers around, and especially in this building, I'm sure across America in Title I schools, they have that mentality that it doesn't, I don't care about this label. Like, this label is not going to define you, right? Your neighborhood is not going to define you. Your family's background history is not going to define you. What you do right now, right, is what we're going to, I'm going to help you shape and mold the type of character, that your personality, to your academics, right, to your IQ. We're going to help you mold that to something that's going to propel you farther than anybody could have even predicted,
Yes.
right? So it goes from taking, I like to say, that goes from taking your past, it has a box, okay, then it's to your present, to where you with us, and then your predicted future, right, that people have predicted from you based on statistics and numbers and all this analytical, nonsense sometimes.
Yeah.
Your projected scores from the state, that right? And then so we see that, and instead of you hitting that predicted future, we're going to turn that into the alternate future, right? So you're going to take a detour. So when we come to the present, instead of going that trajectory, you're going to take that detour to your alternate future. Now, listen, you don't have that ceiling because we don't see that, right? You don't acknowledge that. We know, you know exactly who you are, right? Your uniqueness, your talents, and we're going to now leverage that to create that based on your strengths. We're going to increase that. We're going to take care of your areas of improvement, and you're going to get to achieve whatever you feel like you want to achieve, or you believe you want to achieve. It doesn't necessarily have to be the college route. It could be trade school, could be, so we're not putting kids in a box based on, any stigmas that's out there. Like you just said, we're really just focusing on the actual student present here and right now. We call it being present. So we're here, we're hitting in the here and now, and in the here and now, we're going to make sure you're getting to that next level, based on our experience right now in the present.
I usually like to watch a video from, I think his artistic name is Prince EA, what is about suing the school system, and it has to do with the fact that the school system is not just the United States, to be clear, in a lot of places is not necessarily on the mindset you just described. All right, he usually uses this Einstein quote, which is not exactly like this, but it is more or less, if you judge a fish by his ability to climb a tree, he will live his whole life believing it is stupid, right? How do you think is now, in which level of maturity are we in the school system and with the teachers, in regards to the fact that we need to be treating students a lot more individually and not so much as a massive industrial generation where everyone is the same, everyone is treated the same, you have the same skills, and you can reach very successful if you are part of this social class. If you're not part of that, you cannot reach up. Where do you think are we at this stage?
Well, currently, to be honest with you, I think we have a lot of work to do, right? So what I can say, more so than not, specifically, I attended a lot of principal meetings here in this school district. And what I will say is that the conversation is starting to happen now. So now we are getting, talking about equity and just, allowing students to have that access to, knowledge or content or curriculums that all schools have around it, and high performing and, the high class schools as well. So that conversation is now starting to happen in open discussions in public. We have a long way to go. Of course, we have pockets of teachers like, myself and a few other states and all that good things. But as far as a whole, the United States, I think we have a long way to go, but it starts with a conversation first, right? Actually acknowledging that this is real. Because, previously, a lot of times you would think that this was a myth, right?
Mm-hmm.
It was just, this is a buzzword. People say sometimes, nobody's acknowledging it. Even my Caucasian counterparts, they're speaking up to it. I see this happening and across the state, really, that everybody's now putting their foot down. You know what? This is a real problem. So now that we actually acknowledge that this is a real thing, let's work on the solutions, right? So that's the next step. Okay, well, how are we going to address this problem? And what are we going to do to ensure that this doesn't, this is no longer a problem, for lack of a better term. So I think, once again, we have a long way to go. I'll be remiss to say that we have arrived, or we have, we've gotten taken care of that issue, that we have not. I think we are starting to get on the right path. to do that, or at least moving in the right direction. So, it's going forward, just continuing to have that conversation, whether it's you're uncomfortable or not. Like it needs to happen, especially if you are working in these schools that's in Title One, or you happen to work in school, low income or brown, black and brown children, Hispanic, whatever, brown, whatever you want to call it. We need to acknowledge that it's real, and then acknowledge our own biases. Like even me being African American, I need to acknowledge my own bias as well, because while I say, yep, because I'm black, I automatically relate to these students, low income brown and black students. Well, I haven't been living like that for a very long time, or I might have never lived like that. So I wake up, drive to work, get my Dunkin' Donuts, my bagel, bacon, egg, and cheese. They might not have that, be fortunate enough to have access to that, or that might not be their living arrangement currently. Like I go back to an apartment, have somewhere to live. So a lot of our students, are moving from place to place. So I need to acknowledge that weight, even though it's because it's not just my ethnicity that is important here. It's me actually taking time to acknowledge the weight. This is this person's situation. Let me understand and actually, connect with this. That okay, I need to, look at the socio-emotional piece here as well, not just the academics, because they're going home to not ideal situations and expected to come to school and sit for 8 hours, reading the passage, doing the academic work.
Yeah.
A lot of times it's gonna develop a lot of behaviors that I might not desire, right? So it's really just taking time as a whole, as a people, not even just a race, as a people, and working in these schools and going, okay, let me acknowledge this is real. Let me acknowledge my own personal biases, unconscious biases too. Because when I say that, it's like things that we might not even be aware that I'm doing, or what I'm perceiving because of how I grew up or the environment that I'm in now. I might not be aware that I was thinking this about, X, Y, Z,
Of course.
but it's real, right? So, doing that and just really, honing it and keeping this momentum going, because a lot of times stuff can become trendy. Like, a buzzword to say equitable learning, that can be buzzy, but no, it needs to be consistent. Like, we need to be serious about this and really, take the steps to ensure that this is being, fixed in all schools, right?
And just to opinion, of course, we talk a lot about criminality. We talk a lot about issues on some of the areas, not just in the United States, but also in other countries. And we tend to say this is because they are in low-income areas, or parents are in the crime world. But we don't always remember that a biggest part of the socialization and the beginning of these children has to do with school. And if we don't take school as a way for them to do something else and learn something else and get out of those worlds, then we are probably forgetting the biggest part of their 24 hours. They spend 1/3 of their day in school, right?
Exactly. Mm-hmm.
So, and this brings you to my next question about how is the life of a teacher in the United States? So I'm always have this curiosity. For me, and I tell you with all really honest, my wife is also a teacher. I think teaching and teacher is probably one of the most important jobs in the world. As we have doctors that are saving lives, their bodies, and I think teachers are preparing the people of the future, right? So because the children are like 15-20% of the population, but they are 100% of the future. Mm-hmm. But in Portugal, for example, where I came from, the teaching class is very, very badly treated in terms of salaries, in terms of working conditions, in terms of working classes. Doesn't matter if this, of course, in the high schools probably is different, but this is not necessarily recognized by the governments as a critical function for what's going to be the future of our society. How is that out there?
So it's pretty much similar to what you're talking about. The United States, I guess this is a universal problem that teachers definitely deserve to be treated a lot more with a lot more respect and hold to a higher regard. Because now, once again, it gets trendy. Yes, we all know that we deserve more, right? We like this. we are preparing students for the field. We prepare the doctors who are going to save lives, right? We prepare the lawyers, the dentists, and all these other jobs that so crucial to American or just the world in general.
Yeah.
So it always comes back to, wow, the people who are preparing these people, these future leaders, they're getting treated the worst as far as from pay to resources to even the stigma, right? So like once again, it always goes back to, yeah, we know teachers need to get better, they need to be treated equally, and everybody always rallies around that. But then it comes down to, okay, well, what's actually being done?
Yeah.
Rectify that, right? So I appreciate your support. I appreciate you saying that.
Yeah.
So what exactly is being done, right? You hear this a lot, especially elections and season and all that. It's we're gonna promise teachers this and that. Well, okay, let's actually start doing that. Right, so let's start. If it's paid, we're going to increase pay. Let's actually take the steps to do that and put us on, equal footing with, a dentist, a lawyer, and all these other jobs that are, and especially in America, are held to the highest honor.
Yeah,
right. Even and it's getting rid of that stigma because you say you're a teacher, first thing people think, well, yeah, he ain't really got no money, especially males, supposed to be head of household. It's like, I need to be a principal. I need to be, that type of title. You say teachers, oh yeah,
right.
Baby, we bless your heart. That's what they say. Bless your heart, baby. Oh, you are God's gift. Oh, bless you. Yeah, thank you. Now I wish the people in power would see that and go, all right, let's do something about this. To where it's not a, oh, bless you. It's a, oh, I want to be, I can't wait for my son's a teacher, right? Or I'm going to get enough.
Of course.
Right, so it's like kind of switching that narrative and that connotation off of teaching seeming as one of the low level jobs to take, or just anybody can do that. No,
Not at all.
Just as important as the next big job. The corporation CEO, for a Fortune 500 corporation or whatever that CEO is. So I think so to answer your question once again, like I think it is similar to the teaching in general, the treatment of teachers, and as far as pay to resources is universal, and it's all. I think it's an area that I think everyone could agree on needs to be a lot better. Like it needs to be treated with a lot more integrity and just professional respect.
Yeah.
Because we are preparing the leaders of tomorrow. Like technically, we spend more time with parents' kids than they do.
Yeah. Of course.
They would have 8 hours, 5 days a week.
Yeah.
Sometimes on Saturday, we go pick up kids, go to baseball games, stuff like that. They see us more than they see y'all. So you're at home, working hard to provide and bring home the bacon and make sure they have a meal, and then you entrust us to with your child, and we take that serious. So we going 8 hours a day, 5 days a week. So it's like I think we do the reputation of teachers and just that integrity and respect needs to catch up to the work that we're actually producing.
And what do you think needs to change? Is mindset? Is economics? Is culture? Is what is that? Why is that missing? Right? Because in some countries that has changed, and we have Finland. That's a very good example in Europe, where they are changing the system to bringing these jobs to a much higher standard in terms of perception in the society, and also with the resources they have in the school system being more flexible. And the results are crazy. They are out-ranking every single school system in Europe. Why is that still not happening in countries that are supposed to be leaders in the world? What is blocking us?
Exactly, and that's a really good question, man. I think a lot of people in power don't even know the answer to that, and that's the reason why we're still stuck. Because we had for my master's class, we had to study the article on Finland. I think it was Finland, and it was was it Netherlands? I mean, it was another. It was somewhere else that Nepal maybe. It was somewhere else that also adopted that philosophy of they took teachers and then they made them they took teacher status to the highest level of honor, so that they was on the same token with doctors. We did a whole article study, analyzed it, and like you just said, the results were phenomenal. I mean, because I think about it, when you take a group of educators, you make them the one the highest paid, right? You incentivize them. The morale's up. They're not, because something about it, we talk about students in low income households. There are teachers in low income households as well that's coming to school to teach these students.
Of course.
It has to live paycheck to paycheck. So let's not forget them. So when you reverse that and you take, okay, highest paid, this is the highest they held with the highest honor. When people see them, it's the utmost respect. Now the morale changes and the work ethic increases, right? It increases tenfold, because if it's going at this level now and we don't have that and we're still putting in this work, imagine if we were treated with that. Just the morale will be up, because teaching is a hard job. Like, 300, you go on 108 days a year, in some schools 365 because year-round schools, but you get bogged down like any other job, right? Like it becomes stressful at a point. You get tired. We dealing with all these different personalities, these developing bodies, these the mindsets developing, the hormones, the changes, especially fifth grade when they trying to figure out that identity. Like, oh Lord, do I want to be this? I want to be that. Like, so we are taking that on. So that energy is like we're absorbing all of that. So eventually throughout the year, we're gonna have our slopes where man, I'm just exhausted. So when you walk out and you don't have to worry about the gas or gas money or working a second job, second, third job like you see everywhere, that can be a game changer to where my full 100% of my attention and energy can go directly to my classroom or school, as opposed to having to try to reserve some in the tank because I got to go work, a second shift at Target or, the restaurant. So it's like, I do think, I see Finland and I just take my hat off to them because I think they did a phenomenal job in realizing that you get more bang for your buck when you take the people who are teaching the others, other humans who are going to fill these occupations that you need, like doctors, your dentists, your maintenance workers, all of that, and you treat them with respect, then you see it trickle down and streamline to the students. Because now students, the environment, the learning environment is upbeat. The school morale is upbeat. Now everybody is able to really, thrive in their own right because our full on energy. We're happy. Like it's just, we're good. So it's like I said, that's layered though. It's so many different things that you can adhere to right now that's wrong with the education system or how they treat teachers. Starting with, of course, pay. Starting with the how many resources is allotted to us, allocated for us, funding as far as especially in Title I schools. So it's like it's so many things you can point to that is just it's so overwhelming to think of.
Yeah.
And I do think that, once again, the conversation is definitely rising, especially with all these protests. You're seeing we out there, Red for Ed. So we're getting a lot more empowered, to really speak up. Like, enough is enough,
Yes, of course.
We have a long way to go, but the fact that we are, voicing how we feel, like, and you're seeing so many different stories of what's really happening and how teachers really feel, like turnover rates, like people leaving the profession. I think people will start taking it more serious and really put some attention on it, so then something can get done.
Cool. We just realized now we are already speaking for almost half an hour. I know that you are also now with your viral. I don't know if it was before, but I've seen that you have been also working a bit out of the school and talking to people and kind of bringing something out there. What kind of message are you bringing? What are you helping others to do? Is with education? Is with motivation? Is with individuality? What are you trying to get out there?
Yeah, so I'm part of the Premier Speakers Bureau. So I work with them and traveled around. I speak to school districts, to teachers, to administrators, even I'll go elementary schools, wherever you want to name it. And the message that I continuously try to put out there is really emphasizing the importance of relationships, right? So I always say that before a child can invest in the content that I'm teaching, they have to invest in me themselves, right? So they have to know that I'm willing to go to length for them because I want them to succeed and not just because I want them to get an A+. right?
Yeah.
Not because I want them to make me look good on my test scores. No, this is about more about building your character, really taking the time to focus on you. So when you really sit back and you put away the books or the curriculum, and it's you and the child. When you leave this classroom, what are you taking from me?
Yeah.
Because you can take the reading skills and the algebra, whatever you want to call it. That's fine. You may forget that, may not. You may use that later in life. You may not. But what life skills are you taking that can actually be suitable for life after high school, if you don't choose college, or life after college? What are you taking from me from the
Soft skills,
management?
right? The soft skills.
The soft skills. There you go. Exactly. The soft skills. So it's really tapping into that, and then of course encouraging teachers to don't be afraid to make the curriculum your own, right? So to if you wake up with that idea in your head, and don't be afraid to be innovative, to be creative, right? To really take it's your classroom, own your classroom. You know that this idea is going to excite your students, get them revved up for whatever content you're about to teach. Go ahead and try it. Even if you fail miserably, the fact that you attempted it, the students are going to appreciate it, right? So it's not, because we also want to feel good coming to work. Like I want to be excited to come to work. And so a lot of times I wake up, I'm highly motivated. Oh yeah, I can't wait to try this idea out today. Like, oh yeah, I'm gonna try. I saw this on TV. We're gonna try to duplicate in school. And you'll find that it doesn't even matter if it's not perfect. I roll it out. Hey guys, listen, I think I want to try this idea. I show them a little clip. They, yeah, let's do it. Let's rock. So now they all hyped up and engaged, and they can't wait to get back in your class to do that routine or that activity or that chant. Or, so whatever that is, I encourage them, go for it. Like, you had the internet, go for it. Do not stop, because a lot of times we get nervous and scared because we have to follow, follow a certain curriculum. Oh, it's going to throw off my pacing. I'm not going to be able to do this lesson. Take a day. I'm probably, in the end, it's going to pay off, because the kids are going to be so revved up and so connected, and they're going to really love being in your class that they'll be willing to do anything for you. They'll be willing to work their hardest, right?
Yes, absolutely. And I think it's a very powerful message, man. That's what I'm putting out there. That's why I'm enjoying that there are people doing that. Look, we are getting to an end in time. But I always ask people, and maybe you already did it now, so I was just thinking about it. I ask people to leave. It's not a message. It's more like, when you finish your conversation, I want people to go home and think about something and take something to kind of take as a message to drill a little bit more, and then maybe start doing something else, change something, go after something. What is your take on that? What is your last thing for people to think about?
My last thing for people to think about is, now I got to think about it. I just said the whole list. Now I got to think about it. I have so many, but I just got to pick one. Do not underestimate the power of affirmation, right? Just the simplest. Hey, I like your hairdo today. Hey, nice shoes. Acknowledging is giving somebody words of affirmation. It will go so long, such a far distance, especially in the lives of students, even adults. Think about when you walk down the street or something, somebody go, oh, nice hairdo. Somebody randomly compliments you, or nice beard. It does something for you. So imagine what that's doing for students who already are dealing with so much social media and all this. Don't underestimate the power of affirmation. Pass it on to somebody else. If you can wake up each day and go, all right, I at least, gave 4 or 5 people some positive words of affirmation, then you're doing something. You're contributing to society. You are making somebody else, they feel better. You don't know what that just did for them. That rest of the day, they're on 10. Yep, I'm feeling good about myself, or or just something. So really, never underestimate the power of words of affirmations, and don't be afraid to take a leap, right? To go for that crazy idea, or that promotion, ask for that promotion that you don't think, oh, I might get. Just go for it. It's the attempt. Look, I know Dave Chappelle has this funny line, a joke. He goes, listen, I write the joke. I don't care if it works or not. I'm like Evel Knievel. I get paid for the attempt. So we get the attempt is what's going to, that matters the most than whether you get it or not. Just you putting yourself out there and knowing you don't have no regrets.
Look, really, thank you very much. I think it was a great talk. We can't do a handshake just for people these days.
So what's the one you taught your daughter? I want to do that one. Hold on.
It's like this.
Boom, boom.
Yeah.
All right, let's do it. Here we go. Here we go. You ready? Boom, boom. I did.
That's it, man. Barry, thank you very much. Really fantastic call. I hope we get connected. I may end up showing up in Charlotte anyway because of my day job.
Listen,
and I would love to
I'm out
see
here.
you there.
Let me know. I'm out here, man. I look forward to seeing you in person.
Thank you. Have a nice day.